the way I look at these resolutions, if you do fall flat on your face, okay, I'm not saying people will, but if you do, lighten up and take it easy on yourself. That's what I would say. If you do cave into your resolution, go easy, because you know why? Because you just didn't want it properly in the first place.
Peter.
Wow. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Peter Walsh Show. Well, it is the start of January. Well, how is everybody's blues after Christmas, huh? You know, I want to do this podcast today because I want to talk about it's okay to not be okay. What do I mean? I think a lot of us after Christmas and New Year's, right? We've all got these wonderful ideas that, oh yeah, that's it now, boy. We're gonna step into New Year, take on the world by fucking storm. We're gonna come out the gates blazing. We're gonna kick ass. And all of a sudden we fucking fall on our feet. So I've created some steps along the way that has helped me stay with certain things that I've committed to and still doing to this day, whereas I know the difference between taking the small steps and actually lasting the distance with some things I've done versus deciding to take the big step and falling flat in your fucking face. So that's what I want to talk about today. And you know, guys, hopefully I can help some of you out there because look, and I do, and I care about all of you guys. And by the way, I just want to say, it's a happy new year to all of you out there. I love each and every one of you that listens to my podcast. Honestly, I can't thank you enough. I've had a really good year. It's been amazing. 2023 was a fucking blur, man. It was a blur. I can barely remember. I've done over 250 podcasts in 1 year. Now, if any of you have listened to even just one of my podcasts, I'm grateful, so humbly, eternally grateful for you listening to it. And I'm hoping that I'm bringing something to the table here because that's my mission. And for 2024, it's going to be the exact same, guys. I'm going to try and do my best. We've obviously got a huge year of Formula One coming up, which is going to be great. We're going to be covering, obviously, all the Formula One before the race, what we're going to think, what the best corners and who's the odds-on favorite. And from my experience from racing, and I know how to set up cars and etc., I'm going to give you the inside knowledge on both the bitching, the corruption, and how the drivers should be driving. Are they doing enough? Are they celebrating for no fucking reason? Because a lot of them do, by the way. But I'm gonna give you the no bullshit approach, right? And I said this in 2023 as well. You know, I'm not working on some TV network here that they have to be biased. I won't mention names, but you can probably guess for yourself where they're bullshitting you guys. All right? They're bullshitting you. I'm not saying I'm some fucking hero. No, I'm not. I'm just going to call bullshit on everything on the 2024, just like I did in 2023 for every single round. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing in that. So yeah, my point is I'm going to try and be useful as best as I can again in 2024. And obviously the dating world. Now, I started off with this whole social media with the dating. And it's been a really good year. It's been a very wacky year too, as some of you know, and I'm trying to help out from a guy's point of view. And if you're the first time listener to me, I'm sure. You wouldn't be sure. Last year, I was saying all the time, I'm almost like a broken record at this stage, that guys, I'm no fucking expert in dating. I've been around the block a lot of times. I'll just say that, okay? I've got quite a good head on my shoulders when it comes to emotional intelligence anyway. That's what I think. And well, I like to think it anyway, at least. But most importantly, I like to be very self-aware. And I've made so many mistakes throughout the years with relationships that if I can offer some sort of insight to what us men are thinking, and just, I don't know, certain scenarios anyway, I'll do my best as well for 2024. So okay, guys. So before we really get into it, I just wanted to, to cover that, guys, especially if you're brand new, and what we're going to be giving, or what we're going to be providing here in 2024. So again, guys, like I say, Happy New Year to everybody out there. I hope you had a great Christmas. I really do, each and every one of you. I know it can be a very emotional time for a lot of people, and people have loved ones that have passed away recently, or even years ago, that it was around Christmas time, and God love us, touch wood for a lot of us, that we can hopefully avoid those issues. But hey, touch wood, you just don't know. And so I can't imagine it's very, very hard for a lot of people out there. It's an emotional time too. Do you know, it is an emotional time. I've had some emotional Christmases myself. Now, I can't speak for people that have lost a tremendous amount over a Christmas period and it reminds you. And by the way, I'm not going to say, oh, I can relate to you, because no, I can't. I certainly can't. But I hope you got through it. But at least here's one good thing, I suppose. And look, there's always a bright side and there's always a dark side. If you had a shitty fucking Christmas and shitty fucking New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, the good side of it, it's all over. It's all over now. And I bet there's a lot of relieved people right now, which is always a very, very positive thing. Like for me, I love Christmas. In fact, guys, I'm cooked. Like, I'm shook as fuck here. I was drinking like two weeks straight, and oh my God. Oh. Like, I'm sorry if you're watching me on YouTube. I must look like an absolute walking dead here. I'm like a fucking zombie in the office today, I swear to God. Or the studio, should I say. And yeah, I'm like one of these Irish walking degenerate alcoholics when it comes to Christmas. Now, I wasn't pissed drunk every night. No, absolutely not. But you know yourself, you just end up having a couple of drinks here, and you're like, will you have a drink for dinner? Yeah, why not? And all of a sudden you're sitting there watching Indiana Jones or Back to the Future, and what happens? You're popping open another 3 or 4, and you're sitting by the fire. And by the way, isn't that always the same thing? I know everybody's got their own kind of holiday movie at Christmas time, and like for me, I mean, it ain't Christmas until you start watching Indiana Jones, James Bond, or Back to the Future, or all 3. And then you got like the holiday. I think it's a great fucking movie, I gotta say. The Jude Law, Jack Black, Kate Winslet, and Cameron Diaz. Fantastic movie, guys. I mean, what a show. It just really brings you into the holiday spirit, But I think it's a good all year rounder though too, isn't it, the holiday? And just very charming movie. If you haven't seen it, you should see it, guys. And I'm sure everybody's seen it who watches Christmas movies. But if you haven't seen it, it's just a good kick back, laid back. Do you know what? Even if it was summertime and it was just a hangover Sunday, I think it would still be a good movie. Because it doesn't just focus in on complete all Christmas. It's set around Christmas. But it's just a very, very charming movie. What else did I watch, actually? Actually, it wasn't bad, in fairness. I gotta say, I have a bit of a weak spot for my chick flicks sometimes, every now and then. Now, depending what type of chick flick, but like, what was it? Bridget Jones's Diary? I watched all 3 there over St. Stephen's Day, Boxing Day. They're actually not bad movies. It would make you want to watch the next one again. Now, the last one there, was it Bridget Jones's Baby? It was a bit poor, and Hugh Grant wasn't in it. You want to see Hugh Grant. I mean, he was in the first and second one. He's a fucking great actor, man. And Colin Firth. And, it was funny, actually. Before we get into it, I'm kind of going off the beaten path here. But it was funny. I saw a documentary on Bridget Jones, and the producers were saying that it was so successful, the first one, that they obviously were thinking about doing a trilogy or even just a sequel. Maybe, so they might even go to Bridget Jones 2 and then leave it there, depending on how successful. But they said, all right, for number 2, we gotta have the boys fight. That was like, no, I think, don't quote me exactly, but I think that was actually pretty much one of the most important points of the whole movie. they have to have the boys fight. Fucking, it was just very entertaining. Very entertaining. Hilarious shit. And then, of course, in the third one, you didn't have Hugh Grant, but, just Colin Firth and Hugh Grant. Very funny, charming guys, like, brilliant. Okay, where are we now? So yeah, my Christmas, apart from being a degenerate alcoholic, it was awesome. I had some great family time. And, you know, guys, I think maybe there's a reflection here, and I'm not trying to sound corny when I say this next part here, but sometimes, yes, people have family problems and you don't reach out to that person. I see it every year. People I know. I'm not going to mention who they are. But I do know people have these problems. Maybe, just maybe, if you do have a problem, it's never too late. If you didn't reach out to the person over Christmas, it's never fucking too late to do it now. You could have had a thought about it over Christmas. Even if they confront you, go, why are you reaching out to me now? You didn't contact me at Christmas. Well, you could say, listen, you were just caught up in the moment. You didn't know what to do. It's eaten you away and you had to contact them. Make a leap. Forgive somebody. Reach out to them. Obviously, I know there's different scenarios that some are just unforgivable. But if you do have it in your heart to try and forgive somebody, or even if they fucked you over and you miss them or they hurt you, isn't life too goddamn short? You know, as long as they tried to make an effort with you, or of course I know, again, like I said, depending on the scenario. But it's not too late, that's all I'm saying. It's not too late to forgive somebody. You know, even if you think, oh, well, look, I didn't get onto them at Christmas time now, but I should have, and, oh, well, look, it's too late now. It's never fucking too late. Never too goddamn late. Anyway, I'm not trying to lecture and trying to force people to do what I'm telling you to do, guys. No, not at all. Not at all. So, okay, let's go into New Year's resolutions, guys. I want to talk about this because quite a few people have actually asked me over Christmas, well, do you have any resolutions? And I always give the same answer. I'm one of these people that I don't believe in resolutions. What I believe in doing is trying to work on myself every day, whether it's the summertime, spring, autumn, winter, doesn't fucking matter. If I get something in my head, I want to do it, and that's it. I'm going to do it. Now, depending on the scenario, right, where you might say, oh, well, you know what, I'm going to give up drink there now for 6 months or something, and it's a couple of weeks before Christmas. Well, then, look, you know, I understand that. Well, look, hey, do you know what? Fuck it, I'll enjoy myself over Christmas, just not put pressure on myself, and we'll worry about it in January. So then, you know, that's obviously a bit of a different scenario. But, you know, guys, it's never too early. It's never too late to start these resolutions. That's the way I look at it. Look, hey, some people, it works, these resolutions. It works for some people having a New Year's resolution. What I want to get to here is that I think there's a lot of us that we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to take that big step, which can overwhelm you. Once you get overwhelmed, all of a sudden you feel stress, you feel pressure in your mind. And then guess what happens? A lot of us fall flat on our fucking face. The way I look at these resolutions, if you do fall flat on your face, okay, I'm not saying people will, but if you do, lighten up and take it easy on yourself. That's what I would say. If you do cave into your resolution, go easy. Because you know why? Because you just didn't want it properly in the first place. That's it. You might have really wanted it, but really when push comes to shove, if you do fall, you just didn't want it. So that's not a bad thing. Okay? That's not a bad fucking thing. Now, unless, you know, it's something, again, I'm just trying to throw out some random weird example here, guys. You know, if you were suffering from heart problems or something and you were eating boxes of cheese a day or God knows what, right? And your doctor said, listen, Peter, if you don't stop eating sausages, you're going to die, Now, that's a different scenario, okay? So I'm not getting into that deep end water with you here, guys, because I'm in no position to talk to you about that. That's your own thing. But I'm just saying the other stuff, I'm going to give up the cigarettes or the booze. Like, here's what I've learned in my past. The small fucking baby steps have got me to stay in the game with any sort of thing I've wanted to do. Last year, I started my podcast. I have created 250 podcast episodes. Sorry, I'm going to rephrase. I've created over 250 episodes in 1 year. Now, that was me doing a podcast every single day, Monday to Friday. And guys, I don't know about many people, but might know this or not, but normally people release one podcast a week. So I have done over 5 years of podcasts in a year. Did I say that right? I've done over 5 years. I've done over 5 years of podcasts in 1 year, in a 12-month period. Now, by the way, I'm not trying to say, look how fucking cool I am. No, my point actually with this is that if I started out last year saying, okay, Peter, now we're going to do our first podcast today. Here we go. Let's fucking do this, baby. And then if I said to myself before we recorded the first ever one, if I said to myself, right, we're going to do 250 podcasts this year. We're going to do one every single day. That would have been incredibly overwhelming to me. As you can imagine, that sounds like a hell of a lot of fucking work, right? And it is, but guys, as much as, believe me, I love every moment of it. But some days you can have your tiring days, right? So, you can be a bit like, oh God, I'm so tired today. So that's understandable. That's like anything else. But that's my point. If I started off, before I came out the gates, thinking I'm going to do 250 fucking podcasts, I might have only got to 20 or 30. I'm not saying I'm weak in my mind, but do you know what I mean? As in, like, what I focused on, though, was the process, the repetition. Bang, 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 bang. And what I learned, guys, was that we're very routine creatures. Even if it's a bad fucking habit, we'll still have that routine and that bad habit because it's our routine. If it's a good habit, we'll keep that good habit because it's our fucking routine. We are suckers, all of us, for our routines and habits, and that's why we have them. Because the moment we try and break them, all of a sudden, guess what? Pure and utter fucking chaos in our heads. And I'm the exact fucking same. So, like, I learned this from Jordan Peterson, and maybe some of you may know him, maybe not. But he helped me out with this, right, of watching his YouTube videos. So this isn't me, wow, how original thinking you are, Peter. No, not any of that. None of that. I got some help with this. And Jordan Peterson explains, you should definitely check it out, guys. Jordan Peterson explains that it's about small steps. Do set goals that you can actually achieve on a day-by-day basis or even a weekly basis, right? Something like that. But at least what you need to do is grow confidence. And I'm taking one step every day, not 5. And every day I can take that step. Holy shit. I've got enough energy for step 2 tomorrow. Holy shit, I've got energy for step 3 on the third day. Oh my God, step 4 and now step 5. Jesus, I'm getting on a roll here, guys. Holy fucking shit. Do you know what I mean? So we can really start to build momentum. And actually, Tony Robbins talks about that too as well. Gaining momentum. And by the way, guys, I'm no fucking expert in this. I've got to work on this shit in some other areas of my life. But I do know that the podcasting is very, very important to me. The social media is very, very important to me. So I wanted to make sure that I was going to be in the game for the long run. In the game for the long run. There's even a stat that they say that 75% of podcasts quit in year 1. So now already, without me being worldwide famous, no, I'm not. But even right now, I'm in the top 25% of podcasts in 2023. Now, obviously, there's other podcasts that existed before that. But what I'm saying is, and it doesn't mean that my podcast is going to be number one in the world. I'm not saying that at all. My point is that it just goes to show you how many people are in a rush to get to the top, right? I'm going to be number one podcast. Fucking hell, blah, blah, blah. They're forgetting that everybody else is going to take each other out of the game. Like, I know that, guys, right? I'm smart enough to know this, that I may never get into the charts. I may never get into the top 10, the top 3, the top 1, anywhere in the world. I may never get there. But I do know this. 75% of podcasters out there have taken themselves out of the fucking game already. They've just eased my pressure by 75%. They took themselves out. I did nothing. Right? So even if you're going to do something where it's competitive, you'd be amazed, guys, how many people quit things after a certain amount of time. And what it is, we're expecting too much. We're expecting instant fucking results. And, you know, like I remember it was even funny. I saw this one podcast. I won't mention their name now, but it was a couple. And I saw them on the charts. They were up number 1 in Ireland. And they were on number 1 for about 3 or 4 days. And I was checking out their social media and they didn't have a huge following. And I'm like, this doesn't make sense. And they only had 1 podcast. So it's like, well, hang on, where are people finding out about these people? This doesn't make any fucking sense. So anyway, they went to number 1. 3 or 4 days later, they're back in number 20. Then all of a sudden, they're not even in the top 2 fucking 100 podcasts. So the point is this. I don't know if they're still going, but they bring out 1. Be careful what you wish for, because for them, you might do really, really well with your New Year's resolution and get really good results, but all of a sudden it could go to shit. It's the long game you want here. It's the fucking long game, you know? And guys, for any of your resolutions, if you're trying to quit cigarettes, in fact, if I'm going to tell you one thing, guys, I do smoke. Now, I don't smoke as much actually as I did, funnily enough. Actually, just out of the blue as well. But I do remember a couple of years ago, I was trying to, well, for about a day and a half, I went, oh yeah, I'm going to quit the fags. And then I thought about it, I went, well, actually, hang on. Do you know what now, Peter? Fuck this. I'm not putting that pressure on myself. If I want to smoke, I'm going to smoke. If I don't want to smoke, I'm not going to smoke. And it was a really, really good thing to just accept in me, because it took all the pressure off me going forward. And what happened then, I made out this plan, right? And this maybe sound ridiculous to some people, but it worked. Day 1, I was smoking a 20 box, okay? I'd smoke that in a day. Now, what I did was I made out a plan. For the first week, I'm going to smoke 19 in a day. For the first week. Second week, I'm going to smoke 18. Third week, I smoke 17. You see where I'm going with this, right? So I'm dropping 1 cigarette every week. And you know what? It took the pressure off me. Even when I started week 1, when I did not smoke 20 and I smoked 19, there was a little voice in my head telling me, hey, all right, well, that's possible. This is great. And, I mean, if you think about it, that's 5 fags less I smoked in a week. Now, maybe it doesn't sound much to you, but, you know, guys, you lay out the cigarettes at the end of the week and you see 5 cigarettes sitting there that you didn't smoke. I'm telling you, there's a small little voice in your head saying, whoa, well, that was possible. Then it gave me a bit of confidence going into week 2 with 18. So, I mean, these are tiny fucking steps, guys. Tiny fucking steps. 19 week 1, 18 week 2, 17 week 3. Like, do you know what I mean? You think, and believe me, guys, believe you me, you think that, geez, it's going to take me forever to get down to like 10 or 9 or 8. I'm telling you, those weeks fucking fly by before you know it, and all of a sudden you're smoking 10 and it's nothing to you. It's nothing to you. Now, I've had a couple of moments where I went back to like 15, 16, or maybe even 20 in a day, okay? But you see, again, I wasn't going in for the kill, the complete kill of I'm not smoking ever again. I just wanted to cut down. And you know what? If I got to a stage where, yeah, I'm done with the fags, then I'd be like, okay, we're done. But at least if I do have a relapse, let's say, of smoking, it sounds so weird, and I've had a couple of these relapses, I start all over again. Okay, Peter, you're at 15 a day. And in fact, what I can do now, guys, because I've got a bit more confidence, instead of doing it, and because I've did the small baby steps at the start, now I can start at, let's say, right, Peter, we got to calm down the fags here. I'll start at, let's say, 15, okay? But I'll do 15 for one day. Then the next day I'll go 14. Maybe the next day I'll go 14. Then 13 the next day. So I'm not doing it one cigarette less a week now. I'm doing one cigarette less a day. Because I've got that confidence in me to know that I can do it. It doesn't overwhelm me. Do you know what I mean? And, you know, I'm just going to leave with this, guys, in closing. Like, just one more example. Here's a good one, actually, and I was even talking about this over Christmas, actually, about New Year's resolutions and, you know, the tiny baby steps, like the smoking now I gave you. For instance, if you're not giving up anything, but you have an interest, let's say, and I'll come up with this example. How about being a little bit nicer to people? And by the way, when I'm saying that, I'm not saying that this is for people who are dickheads to other people. No. But imagine this, right? And by the way, you can have some serious fucking fun with this, okay? I mean, like, honestly, guys, if you've never tried this, you should try this. This is serious fucking fun. Give it 3 months. Fuck it, give it 2 months, 3 months, and see what the results of this one. Now, this is the tiniest little adjustment in your life that doesn't fuck up your routine, okay? Nothing of the sort, but you'd be amazed of the reaction from other people, and the human interaction, relationships will improve with people. Every time you meet other people in town or in workplace or this or that or wherever it's, or the gym or the yoga Pilates class, whatever it is, if they look nice, okay? I'm speaking now for ladies and men here. So in other words, pay a compliment to somebody. All right? So let's say you're strolling through your city on a Monday morning and you bump into somebody and you're like, hey John, how you doing? Yeah, you look good, man. Yeah, you look good. Now, if John looks like shit, well then maybe leave it go, right? But what I'm saying is, look for something in the person that looks good. Like, actually look for something. And by the way, this isn't very hard. If someone looks good, it's going to stand out to you anyway. But if they don't, just look for like their scarf or their shoes. Look, actually, John looks like shit today, but I like his clothes though. Actually, his scarf is nice. His shoes are nice. You know, his glasses are nice. Whatever the fuck. You know, or even if he doesn't look good, you know, if John is good at accounting, you know, pay him a compliment. Tell him, you know, John, I've always got to say, man, I was only just thinking about it. You're really good accountant. You're very thorough. You're this or that. Why not? Like, a lot of people have no idea how good it feels to give a compliment. You know? And you might not get a compliment back from somebody. But like, imagine if you work, just like, give me a bit of rope on this one, guys, right? Imagine you work, let's say, in a workplace with the biggest asshole or the biggest bitch the world's ever seen. And you have to see this person every fucking day. Now, maybe they don't affect you. Maybe, you know, you're like, whatever, I've got thick skin, I don't give a shit. But let's admit, though, whether they affect you or not, you'd still rather have a good relationship with this person, right? Do you know what I mean? Like, it would just make life a little bit easier, you know? So therefore, even if you've got thick skin and you just don't like John or Mary in the office, there's still a tiny little effect on you, right? But imagine if you gave them a compliment. Or you just were just a little fucking nicer to them. It would make you feel good, number one. And now, maybe at the start, it might fuck with your ego. In other words, fuck you, John. I gave him a compliment and fuck you, he didn't give me one back. You can't do this to expect a compliment back. I've given people, guys, and by the way, when I give somebody a compliment, I'm not bullshitting them. I'm looking for something that looks good on them, and I'll just call it. I'll go, hey, I like your hair, Mary, or I like your nice jacket, dude. You know, something like that. Whatever. I'm giving them the truth. But you know, it makes the person feel good, and especially to the asshole. I'll always give the asshole a compliment. And you know what? Like, I can see what you're probably saying. Why would you give the asshole a compliment and you wouldn't give the nice person? I'd always give the nice person a compliment, but I'm saying with the asshole, they'd be blown away. You know? And imagine, guys, if you're working with somebody who's a prick, but if you were a little bit nicer to them every day, and can you imagine going into your office place without having your guard up, even if it's only for 2 minutes chat with that person because you have to deal with them every day. Imagine dropping your guard every day. Now, here's the most important part. Can you imagine the psychological effect it will have on you in a positive way, knowing that you and John get on that you just get on with each other a little bit nicer because you made the effort of being a little bit nicer, right? 250 times a year, you've got your guard up around John. Can you imagine? Again, now, assuming you're working 5 days a week with John and you have to see him every day, right? Like, if you think about that, guys, 250 days you have to see John and have your guard up. Like, don't you think that it's just going to tire you out just that little bit? Of course it would. I don't care if you've got the thickest skin in the world. You know, you're still going to go, oh, Jesus, I'm tired now. I'm hungover today. The last person I want to fucking see is John. Do you know what I mean? You know? And if you think about that, 250 times a year you have to have your guard up with him. Can you imagine if you could drop it by even 50%? John's just that little bit nicer to you. That psychological effect would be tremendous over a 6-month period. I think you'd actually even be a little bit happier going into work. You'll be happier leaving work. Guess what? If you're a little bit happier leaving work because now you've got your energy focusing on something positive instead of your defense up around fucking John. Now you've got energy to be a little bit nicer around people that you love. Guess what? You can make them feel a little bit better. And guess what happens? Then they feel a little bit better about themselves. And then you get on better with them. And then guess what? Maybe you don't drink as much at the weekend because you're trying to forget about John and his bullshit at work. Maybe you actually have more of a healthier lifestyle. Maybe you'll actually try and do something else. You go to the gym maybe a little bit more. Do you know what I mean? It's just all about tiny, tiny baby fucking steps. Now, guys, before we close off the podcast today, I want to say 2 things. Number 1, if you do this, do not expect any compliments back from anyone whatsoever. But I know this, and I've seen this myself. People will be a bit nicer. Now, I've had a couple of people, right, where you give them a compliment, and the next day they completely blank you. Do you know how good that feels when you've actually made a lot of people I think fear this one, right? Do you realize how good it feels knowing that you gave, again, we'll go with John, the example. If you've given John, the prick in the office or wherever he is, a compliment, and the next day he blanks you, right? And yet, in fact, you couldn't even try and be nice to him because he's actually fucking blanking you, right? Do you know how good it feels? I know, most of you are probably going, geez, that's really, you feel good? Because you tried, guys. And John in the office is such a prick that you're like, wow, I was really nice to John. And look at him. Look at him. You should go home feeling proud of yourself. And now I wouldn't say ignore John okay, that's it, I'm done with him. If he decides to talk to you again, talk to him again. Or if you walk past him, say hi. You know? He's the one that's making a fucking ass out of himself. And he's seriously got some major problems. And if he's such a prick, well, guess what? If he's going to be this much of a prick after you're being nice to him, well then, tough shit on you, John. Fuck you, asshole. You know? Let him stew in his own misery. Do you know what I mean? And I've had that before, guys, and it actually makes me feel good because I'm not being the asshole. He's now clearly being an asshole. And you're just being nice. It makes you feel grow a little bit better, more, you know what I mean? I hope I'm making sense, guys. And look, maybe it's a wild, weird, stupid theory, but I don't think it is because look, again, I know I've said close, we're going to close this episode about, about 3 times already, but I'll just leave with this. It's a small baby step giving someone a compliment. Whether it's their clothes, their lipstick, their denim pants, their hair, their skills at their work, whatever it is. It's an easy fucking one to do. And we should all do it anyway, more than people do these days. But people don't. But you feel fucking good. And it's not affecting your routine. That's the great thing about it. And you know what? And I'm telling you this. You'll be amazed after about 3 months. If you keep this up, you'll be fucking amazed what kind of attention people will be around you. Not everybody, of course. You might still have the dickhead John. But you'll be amazed how people will be even just that little nicer back to you. You know? And I'm not saying this to manipulate people. No, not at all. Not at all. It's just nice to be fucking nice. Do you know? So, anyway, guys, look, I hope I'm giving you some useful experience, I suppose, really, from my life. It's definitely worked for me, these small little baby steps, because in the long run, when you repeat these small things every single day, that's unbelievable. Anyway, I'll leave you with that, guys. I'll be back again. Love you and leave you guys. See ya. Bye-bye. Peter. Walsh.